like I said, 5 different um, technical series, technical events in the series. The first one is going to be focused on our brand new mobile application. The second webinar is going to be focused on Illustra Analytics inside of Exacq Vision and all the great things that you can do with that. The third one is going to be focused on LPR, license plate recognition, mainly from Illustra, but also talking a little bit about some of the other LPR platforms that we support. The fourth one is going to be geared on event management and notifications within Exacq Vision, all the different things that you can do when events happen. You can pop video into screens, set up emails, etc. And then uh, the final webinar in our series is going to be how to set up archiving, either to an on-site archiving server or to an off-site cloud utilizing Amazon or our new partner, Wasabi. So with that, I will pass it over to James Goddard, who's going to be running the presentation. Again, these are 30-minute sessions. Please hold questions kind of to the end or go ahead and type something in the chat, and then we'll be able to respond as we go. But with that, James, I'm going to give it over to you, and we'll go from there. Thank you, everyone.
All righty. So I'll go ahead and get started here. You've got my title slide that I've pulled up here. Today is going to be a webinar or Teams meeting, whatever you want to call it nowadays, on the next generation mobile application new from Exacq Vision as of late last year. My name is James Goddard. I am a sales engineer for Exacq Technologies. I have been with the company since September of 2010. I worked in the tech support department. If you took one of the training classes, in-person training classes, that might have been me, might have been Brian Clark. I traveled around and trained the software, both the professional and enterprise levels of software. And then I moved into this role, the sales engineer role, a few years back and augment the sales team with technical knowledge. Today, we're going to go over the mobile app. I'll do PowerPoint slides, maybe not everyone's favorite, so I'll try and get through that pretty quickly, but there's some good information on the PowerPoint slides on the slide deck. And then I'm going to move into the actual live demo. A little tricky since I'm going to be demoing off of a mobile device, so I'm going to change which screen I'm sharing, so hopefully that'll go smoothly. But let me go ahead and start with the PowerPoint slide here. As Brandon already talked about, we do have a mini webinar series, and he talked about some of the different topics that we have upcoming here. This one's, of course, on the mobile app. These are about 30-minute presentations. Quick and to the point, but they should be some good info for you guys. Some things that you may not know about Exacq Vision, things that don't necessarily get as much spotlight as they should. And of course, we're going to cover the Illustra Analytics, Illustra LPR. We're covering the mobile app today. We're going to talk about event management and recently added, or what's becoming maybe more relevant, maybe not necessarily recently added, but archiving, which includes also our newer Wasabi archiving, cloud storage, as well as Amazon S3, which has been available for a little bit. And then we'll do some integrations as well. So we've got the Exacq Cantech integration, which we'll talk about, as well as the Secure Exacq integration. As Brandon mentioned, we do have everyone muted. You can feel free to type questions into the chat, and I will get to those towards the end here. We do have a question already. Like I said, I'll get to those at the end there. And maybe Greg or maybe Brandon or someone else can answer those as we go along. If not, I will just address those towards the end of the presentation here. Today, our agenda, we'll talk about the differences in the new app versus the old mobile app, if you're used to that. We'll talk a little bit about the architecture of the new app, as well as setup and programming, some main features of the app, and then some features that are coming, future development. And then we'll actually move on to the live demo of the mobile app, and that's where I'll change which screen I'm sharing, and I'll show the long-awaited mobile app. This has been something that customers have been asking for a while. This is something that sales has been working with product management and engineering on to ensure that we get a good product out to the customer base, make sure that it is intuitive and addresses a lot of the pain points that came from using the previous mobile app. And we think that we've done a good job with that. And so we'll show a live demo of this here in just a few minutes. So new mobile app, sorry, new mobile app versus the old mobile app. We have the old mobile app, some of the pain points or some of the things that we didn't necessarily like about the mobile app. First off, it did require the use of the Exacq web service. The Exacq web service was an adjacent piece of software that would run typically on the same device as the NVR, on the NVR software. And it was used not only for the mobile app, but also so that you could pull up your cameras and other devices through a web browser interface. That is something that we are working on developing, doing a web browser-based interface that is is a little bit more robust in its feature set. So that is something that's being worked on. But the current mobile web service or Exacq web service is still there. It's not completely gone away, even though the mobile app no longer uses that. It is used for some third-party integration still. So the web service is still around, but the new mobile app, no longer requires the use of the web service to connect. And one of the things that has changed that's inherent to this new mobile app is the ability for the mobile app to communicate directly with the NVR software. We no longer have to use the web service, and that also means that remote connectivity is included with that, which means we don't have to open a port. This was available in the old mobile app. We could enable relay connections, but that wasn't always there. That is inherent to the new mobile app. And then, of course, in addition to the back end gears, nuts and bolts being not super efficient as far as code goes, the interface itself could be cumbersome at times. It could be difficult to add new servers. And so we not only have we improved the inner workings of the mobile app, we've also made sure that the interface is intuitive, because that's kind of what you come to expect from a mobile application when it comes to security. A lot of people, when they think of mobile app, they think of maybe, I've got my home security system that I set up with one click or a QR code or something like that. And it's really easy. You don't have to know anything about security systems or CCTV systems to be able to set it up. And so we wanted to kind of bring that experience to the Exacq mobile app. So with the new mobile app, no web services required, communicates directly with the NVR software. Remote connectivity is inherent to that mobile app and no longer requires any open ports on a firewall. More and more IT departments, understandably, have no interest in doing that. They don't want to open a port on the firewall that could potentially leave the system open to vulnerabilities and attacks. And the setup is intuitive. I will go through the actual setup a little bit on the slide, and then I'll also show you how you get an Exacq server connected to the new mobile app. Talking a little bit about the architecture, we kind of alluded to this on the previous slide. The old mobile app utilized the web service to access cameras and devices, required an extra piece of software. No extra cost, but it did require the extra piece of software. And then port 80 was the default. Needed to open that. With the new mobile app, it communicates directly with the NVR, built-in remote connectivity, secure HTTPS link. Typically, the easiest way to connect to the mobile app is with a 6-digit code that I'll show you how you generate. But you can use an HTTPS link, do it manually, kind of the old way that you did it before. But you can do the easiest way to do that is to generate a 6-digit code through the Exacq software, which I will show you how to do here in a second. And you can kind of see just a very basic diagram of how the old app worked versus the new app. The old app is called Exacq Mobile 3, communicated with the web service, web browser. And those EV Web API, those are the integrations that I talked about earlier. Those do still use the Exacq web service. But the new Exacq mobile app, as you can see, bypasses all of that and communicates directly with the Exacq server. Just going over some key features here. It should have a lot of the same features that you would come to expect from a CCTV VMS system. You've got live and search. That's basic. If a CCTV system doesn't do live and search correctly, then you might as well go with a different manufacturer, because those are sort of foundational to a proper video management system, is to be able to look at your cameras and to be able to search those cameras. So a more intuitive, I have a typo there, move intuitive interface. I'll have to fix that. So that's meant to say more intuitive interface, less cumbersome. Live page organized by predefined views and quick view. So you can create your own views, or you can simply pull up a couple of cameras if you're just looking to check on a couple of your video feeds. Search cameras based on currently displayed videos, or there's also an events page where you can search devices. Easier search conducted via the more precise parameters. So you can, if you want to search the last 2 hours, that's sort of the default in the event search, but you can also search for a few days ago or a few months ago, depending on how long your video retention goes back. When exporting in the mobile app, you either have the option to create a bookmark, which will then show up in the Exacq client software, or you can export clips through bookmark or case management, export clips to mobile device. Sorry, I got those kind of mixed up there. Export clips to mobile device or bookmark. So you got a couple of options when exporting video, or saving video, I should say. And then, of course, the easier setup, the easiest way is to use the 6-digit code that gets generated within the Exacq client software. You can do that using the remote connections page. You will need to be on at least Exacq server version. I should have mentioned this earlier. This mobile app requires 24.09 or newer. That is when we added the remote connectivity piece that was added in the September release of last year. So you'll need to be on 24.09 at least to use the new mobile app. But no need to input several potentially complex IP schemes. That was how you added old servers before. If you had 20 servers, you had to have 20 different IP addresses or host names. And if you are trying to instruct someone who maybe isn't as technical, that could be sort of an uphill battle, a little bit difficult to kind of lead them through that. As far as feature development goes on the Exacq mobile app, video push is something that was available in the old mobile app, and it is available in the regular software. Video push allows you to take your view and push it out to another mobile device or to another client workstation. And they can be, you can push from a mobile device to a client workstation, vice versa, client to client, mobile to mobile. There's no, there's not, it should be a pretty flexible feature. That did not make it into the first iteration of the new mobile app release. That should be in the next release here. And then more tablet friendly version. This is actually available now. So it's, when I say targeted an upcoming release, it's actually available now. So the 24.12 release, I believe, is what includes that feature. Before in the initial release of the mobile app, if you were using more of a tablet style device, we didn't really make good use of the entire real estate of that tablet device. So now, if you update it, you should see more of you should see a better layout produced when you use a tablet, especially if you're doing it in sort of a wide mode, landscape. I don't know what word I'm looking for here. Landscape mode when using tablet devices. So we make better use of those tablet devices now in the latest release here. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to minimize this first. And what I'm going to do before I actually start sharing my phone here, make sure, okay, I'm still connected there. Let me first show you in the Exacq software where you generate this new 6-digit code. What I have here is a remote connection. This is, if you see on the tree on the left, it's right beneath some of the other features that you're probably used to. We've got remote connections right above the enterprise section if you're enterprise licensed. Otherwise, it would be above your system list that you've got there in your configuration page. And one of the things that sort of delayed this, and we feel like the time was worth it in order to input this feature, is we wanted to be able to generate a single 6-digit code for multiple servers. So if I wanted to do that, I could. In this case, what I would do if I wanted to generate a code for both of these servers, I would select both of them here, or you can just simply select all. And you come down here and you hit generate codes. Now, in this case, I'm just going to do it for our Illustra demo server. So I'm going to check the box here. I'm going to click generate codes. Now, you can also change how many systems generate codes for selected systems. So if you need to connect multiple people, you can come up here and change this. I'm just going to do for me here. And then I click generate codes here. And so I've got one that I just generated, the 6V6BNR here. So now at this point, let me, bear with me here. Hopefully this will work okay. and I'm going to stop sharing this screen. And let me attempt to share my, okay, looks like we're sharing there. All right. Nice thing about joining on two devices is that I can see what I'm sharing on another screen, which is helpful. Okay, so let me minimize this. We'll close out of that. Okay, so now that I have my 6-digit code, I'm going to click. It's got a new symbol here. It's going to be the Exacq. Now you'll kind of have to, obviously you can't really see me clicking my finger on here, although you can kind of see my screen. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Anyway, so we'll go ahead and pull this up, and I am going to pull up the Exacq Vision mobile app. Wait for it to catch up, get started. So I'm going to click that. And what it should show here is the ability to put this code in. So again, it was 6B6BNR. All right. We'll hit next. Secret key accepted. Okay. And then let's make sure I don't, hopefully I put my credentials in correctly. So I'm waiting for it to catch up here because it's a little behind on my screen. So then I'll put my credentials in here, and I can remember the order here. I think I got it wrong. Hold on. There we go. I think that's it. There we go. Okay. All righty. So that's the new login process. Now, if you have multiple systems, it would add multiple systems. I just did the Illustra demo server here. But as you can see, the mobile app is organized into a few different sections here. So what I have is I've got the default is quick view. Now there's some other views that other people have pulled up here that I could look at if I wanted to, but in the live page, I'm going to do a quick view. I'm going to click the add button up top here, and it's going to show my server or servers that I'm connected to. I got my Illustra demo server. So I could click that as a filter, or I could also click cameras up top here, and it'll navigate me to that. Hold on, I lost you guys for a second. Give me 1 second here. Let me make sure that this is still sharing. There we go. Okay. Sorry about that. So now let me go ahead and we'll do the multi-sensor here, and maybe we'll do, I don't know, this 2-megapixel dome. So I've added both of those, and then I hit done. And so those two cameras now show up in the mobile device. We have a lot of the same features that are available. So if I click one, this brings me to the live page for that specific camera. By default, it takes me to live. And I can use like a, kind of intuitively, it's hard to say, but you can kind of go and you can zoom in, pinch, or zoom out. Pinching will zoom back out, taking your camera. I feel silly doing this, but what's when when you're doing a mobile app, like this would zoom out, and then the pinch would zoom back in. So, and it's more intuitive if you see it yourself. But then if I move I can scrub here on the timeline, and it goes to different events here. Now, and that's to actually go back and look at different video. There's a motion event right there. And when you do that, you can also just click the motion event down at the bottom here, and it'll just automatically bring you to the that specific event. So once you've found a clip that you want to save, you can then come back up here, and if you click the video, it'll give you the option to save footage, and this is where you would either create a bookmark or you can save it to device. So if I'd like to save it to a device, I can do that, or I can create a bookmark. There's a couple different options here as far as there's a couple different options as far as what we want to do with a video clip, and you can change the beginning and ending parameters here, and you can kind of see, you know, the effect that that has. So this, now we're down to like a sort of a 50-second clip here. If I want to move this way, I can do that and more easily zoom in on this sort of motion event here. And this is 1.5 minutes here. So I could create a bookmark, or I could save it to my device. So when I'm done with that, now if I go back, let's go back to, it's just going to go back to my quick view. Of course, we can save views if we want to. You can click the little 3-dot icon and you can save this view. You can click clear quick view, see all views, or create a view if you want to. So again, if you want to, let me click there. You can swipe through pre-configured views that people have already saved and just go through those if you want to. If you would like to view what devices are actually connected, you can do that. We've got the servers that you're connected to. You've got your cameras. I've got system alerts at the top here. And it looks like there's some things that you know, I can dismiss if I want to. When I put my credentials incorrectly, it gave me a system alert there. That might be useful if you want to know if someone's maybe trying to get into the system that shouldn't be there. You can also look at your doors or partitions if you have any security integrations, audio as well. I believe audio is not in here yet, but it will be soon. Greg or someone might have to correct me on that. And then triggers, groups, and then all your devices just listed in one single spot there. Lastly here, rather than searching from the live page, you can click on events. And if you would search, if you want to choose a device, you can simply search events on, let's do our multi-sensor here. This one has 2 different resolutions. We're going to do the high res one, and then we're done. So we can search events, and by default, it does the last 2 hours. You can change that if you want to, but I'm just going to go ahead and search the events. These are the ones that have occurred in the last 2 hours here. So if I click this, let's see if this is maybe just, it's 6 seconds of video. I don't know if it's going to be someone that is walking in, or it could be just wind blowing, something in the wind or something. So this is about 6 seconds of video here. It's just kind of going through, and if we want to, we can save that footage. It is kind of, it's a little windy here, so there's a good chance that some of the brush at the front there is setting off the motion there a little bit. So but we do have the ability to search a different way too. If you want to search just events that way, we have the ability to do that through the mobile app here. If you would like to add additional servers, just come down to more. You can look at your bookmarks, your cases. Event monitoring is also viewable through here. Settings are where you would actually put in your servers. Is where you'd actually put your servers there, and you can see a little bit of systems about your system alert. I'm on the most current version 24.12, and if I want to disable the connection, I can do that, and that'll disconnect me. But if I want to re-enable that connection, I can certainly do that later. So it takes a second to reconnect, but it will, as you can see, it does generate that HTTPS link, but it was much easier for me to use the 6-digit code to connect that server as opposed to using the link manually there. And again, if you want to enter a URL instead, I just click the plus icon on the top right corner there. It gives me the ability to do that. And so there are a couple different ways. I think the 6-digit code's a little bit easier there. So, and that's really the new mobile app. There's not a whole lot, you know, we want to, like I said, we wanted to make it intuitive. We wanted to make sure that it was easy to set up. And we wanted to improve the background as well. Being able to not have to use the web service is a big plus for us. Being able to communicate directly with the NVR is a big plus. And then we can do that as well. So I'll go ahead and, since we have a few minutes left, we'll take a look at some of the questions that we have. Let me go ahead and actually, hold on, let me figure this out. This is the hardest part, is trying to figure out how to leave. I think, here it is. And then we hang up. Leave on not all devices, just this device. I think we're good. Okay. Okay. So let me close out of that. And well, yeah. So first question, we had one about So Greg, it looks like Greg's been on top of some of the questions there. Yes, events. Brandon asked, can we set up push notifications? For example, motion after hours triggers an alarm, pushes a notification from my app. Yes, events can be set up and activated in the app. Push notifications will be received on the app, even if the app is not active. Um, so that's if you got a critical event and you want to set that up to notify even during off hours, you can do that. And then some of the other ones, it looked like two-way audio is supported now. Recorded audio playback will be added in 30 days. I mentioned the thing about the audio. Notice the new app adds a second stream to each camera on the server. Does this tax the processor since it is now recording two streams? The secondary stream by default is not set to record and only streamed when someone accesses it. So unlike, I see where you're coming from with that question, because before when you would add a stream in there, it would be, I believe, set to motion, or it used to be set to motion by default. And it may still be doing that if you're in the regular client application, but the mobile app does not add a recording stream. It simply adds one to be more ideal for viewing through a mobile device where you may not have service or you have less bandwidth. You don't want to use mobile data as much. And again, 2409 is the required version there. And so you'll need to be on 2409. 2412 was there as well. Does the video push allow for mobile monitoring, as in you can record and view and share with other workstations and mobile devices, essentially integrating the mobile camera natively in real time? So let's see, I'm trying to wrap my head around that. Record and view. Go ahead.
If you're asking if the camera on your mobile device can be used as a recording, and then you can stream or push that back, the answer is no at the moment.
You're not the first person to ask that, though. I've definitely been asked that question
absolutely.
before, so.
Great, James. I appreciate it. That was a wonderful, quick. I mean, we're right at 30 minutes, so we'll kind of wrap up here and just kind of explain what's next. Everyone, thank you again for joining. Hopefully this was helpful. We tried to make it as informational as possible, not as many PowerPoint slides, get you into the demonstration, how to configure, how to show it to your customers, how to use this. Hopefully this was great, guys. We're going to put the recording on our social media. We're going to send it out. If you missed it, if you want to share with others, if you just want to come back to it sometime. And then I will also note that we have, again, another week 2. It's not going to be next week. We're going to skip a couple of weeks. We're going to come back on March 25th. I think I can share my screen. And we're going to touch on the Exacq Vision integration with object analytics at the edge. And we're going to show you how we integrate those into Exacq Vision and some of the different things that you could do with those integrations, helping forensic search, looking for specific vehicles of adding color filters and people, et cetera, et cetera. So with that, guys, thank you again for joining, and we will let everybody get back to their morning. Thanks again, guys.
Have a good one.